This video may contain violence, sexual themes, and a lot of swearing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to take this time to tell you about a brand new D&D show you could watch. It's called University D&D, and the show is a bunch of college students getting together to play D&D. I've seen the first episode, and I absolutely love it. The thing I actually like most about it is that one of the characters is one of the player characters is a changeling, which I actually love because I think that changelings are criminally underrated. And with that, please enjoy the intro to the show and check it out. First episode, link in the description.
In a world where a bunch of kids play D&D, they also try to balance university. So let us introduce ourselves formally, and welcome to a brand new land of normalcy.
Some initiative, they know the definition of getting a crit in position and behind the villain. In other words, flanking the mimic to get a second attack. It's smooth and fast, prepping to cast a fireball. Hit them all with a third level blast, I know. Hope it's overcast to see destructive wrath. From a holy man, but he ain't the only man. To strike gold, he got a brutal barbarian. Every turn, the dragon lands another blow. Spitting flames like a fighter with a blessed bow. Shards of ice into the fire with no doubt. Ghostly form behind your back, sneak attack lights out.
It's University D&D. We're here to work and play and earn our bachelor's degree, yeah. Now everybody sing it with me, cause it starts right now. Count it 1, 2, 3.
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to...
Alright, I walk into the bar, what do I see? You see that the bar is full of adamantium weapons and level 20 adventurers. Really? So you're just gonna tease me and make sure that I can't steal anything? Isn't this exactly what you do to us? Well, usually there's a point for you to go to the bar other than you just telling me to go there, but you know what, I can work with it. Whatever, the bartender approaches you and asks you what you want to drink. Moonshine and a napkin, please.
Coming right away, sir.
Also, are there any planks of wood lying around?
We have some spare 2x4s out back from when we renovated the place.
Grand, I'm just gonna go take a piss. Deception check. Hey, who said I'm not gonna take a piss? Well, why are you heading to the 2x4? One of my character traits is I don't pee indoors. Is it really? It is now.
Fine, Jesus Christ.
After I'm done pissing on the 2x4, I pick it up and put it in my bag.
What the hell are you doing?
Is my moonshine and napkin on the table? Yes it is. I stuff the rag in the bottle, light it on fire, throw it in the ground, and put the 2x4 in the door.
What the hell are you doing?
Everyone, give me your adamantium weapons or we all die!
This escalated so quickly!
I'm not saying you don't have to be selfish, and I'm not saying that you can't go after treasure and coin.
There's a bit of a misconception here.
Okay.
Is there?
Caleb and I have a very special relationship. It is that of a parent and a child. But I am the parent. You do understand that, correct? I protect him. He's my boy, and I keep him safe. I want him to thrive and get better and better and more powerful and stronger because he can achieve great things. When I found him, he was nothing. He was a scared little boy in the corner of a jail cell. And as we have gotten more comfortable, he has gotten more comfortable and come out of his shell. It's my job to protect.
Far over the misty mountains cold, blue dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to find our love forgotten gold. The pines are roaring in the night, the winds are mourning the trees like torches ablaze with light.
I really wonder what they're going to come back with for our clothes. Hopefully, it's nothing colorful for me.
I wouldn't put that out into the universe.
Yeah.
You don't like bright colors?
Well, I just like to, just wear simple, I don't know, nothing flashy.
You like flowers.
Yeah, but...
So you like color.
That's like those are beautiful.
I mean, you are too.
Oh, Jesus.
Cursed class ideas that you've probably heard before, but if you haven't, you're welcome. A bard who is a stand-up comedian. A warlock who thought that signing a pact with the Great Old One meant signing a pact with their grandfather. A cleric who acts like a Jehovah's Witness. A barbarian who used to be a librarian, so she learned how to rage silently. A really tall, muscular, broad-shouldered rogue who yells at people telling them that they can't see him, and his intimidation skill is high enough that people just go along with it. An artificer who's a little kid, and every stick that he picks up and pretends is a weapon turns into a weapon. A wild magic sorceress who causes a wild magic surge every time she sneezes. A Horizon Walker Ranger scam artist who scams people out of their money by taking them on a haunted tour of the forest and ends up pushing people into an astral portal. A really cocky wizard who doesn't carry a spell book because he doesn't need it and then just throws random hand gestures and shouts woobly woo. Cursed class ideas that you've probably heard before, but if you haven't, you're welcome. A bard who can't talk? A mime bard. A wizard who tattoos all the verbal instructions to their spells on their skin so they don't have to carry around a spellbook. 3 kobolds in a trench coat acting like a barbarian. All 3 of them individually are barbarians, but they all pretend to be one. A warlock whose patron is a wizard named Doug, and every time the warlock casts something, it's just Doug casting the spell over his shoulder. A Build-A-Bear workshop employee who's a necromancer. A squeamish barbarian that faints at the sight of blood. A druid in a bear costume with a maxed out deception skill that everyone thinks is just a sentient bear. A monk who learned how to fight through interpretive dance. You guys are really good at this. Cursed class ideas that you've probably heard before, but if you haven't, you're welcome. A shadow sorcerer who's afraid of the dark. Genius. A gunslinger who carries water pistols. A paladin who acts like a Christian youth pastor. Who's really cool and hip with the kids. A golf ranger. You hear 4 and then your head gets blown off by a golf ball. An Azamar bard who can only cast their spells through whispering into a microphone. An ASMR bard. A tabaxi rogue who can only communicate through a magical set of bongos. And finally, a wizard sent back from the year 2016 that casts spells using dabbing and fidget spinners. Taking curse to a whole new level.
Welcome to Dungeons & Dialects, where we're going to teach you how to do a Scottish accent in less than a minute for your D&D games. First up, as usual, R. In a Scottish dialect, almost all R's are going to be rolled, so another becomes another, and round becomes round. Next up, we have our I's and our O's. As usual, it's not a perfect rule, but most of the time your I's are going to be dropped to an sound, and the O's are going to be pulled in to make more of an oo. So a phrase like, this needs to be done, would be turned into, this needs to be done. Finally, something we've never talked about before, something called a diphthong. I'll give you a second to stop laughing. Diphthongs are when you blur 2 vowels together. So in American pronunciation, we would say the word go with 2 different vowels, O and oo. Whereas with a Scottish accent, you're really going to remove almost all diphthongs entirely. So go would turn into go. And if you manage it correctly, it should sound a bit like this. Unlike my other ones, you can actually exaggerate this one as much as you want, because people from this sort of region are really known for not being able to be understood by anybody else. So, there you have it.
And now, change the subject, cause you're my favorite subject.
Yo! Furries can do infinite crime!
This guy's holding my fucking plasma screen television that he just took out of my house. What are you talking about? That's a big dog.
Griffin.D wants a roast, and I am more than happy to oblige. Griffin plays D&D, and he lives in the wilderness, thus confirming he will never get laid. Not because hiking in Dungeons & Dragons is unattractive, but because the only person who has the energy to play D&D after a hike is a grizzly bear. Now you're gonna say, oh, well, that's preposterous. Of course he doesn't play D&D after he hikes. Well, then how does he play it? The man lives in the woods. Everywhere is a hike for this man. I feel like we gotta talk about those luscious locks. Do you grow your hair out like that because you like it, or because the only tool you have past the Stone Age is your phone? Whatever animal you channel with your hair looks like it would eat the animal I channel with mine. Now, in case you don't know, Griffin got famous for filming D&D skits in the wood. Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, sounds like code for porn. What are you filming, Jimmy? D&D skits in the woods. You gonna stab that dragon, Jimmy? Yeah, you bet. We're gonna stab him good. We all know he was just a lost child that was raised by wolf. Or how else would we explain this fashion choice? Griffin, you're a great creator. Thank you so much for letting me roast you. Everyone, please go check him out. He's amazing. The bearded bard himself wants a roast. Now, in order to comply with his content preferences, this will be a no swearing zone, because we all know that if you swear, you might just develop a personality. I hope you brought heat-resistant pants, big boy. The first thing I'd like to note about the bearded bard is that he is my head, except if I was upside down. And look, I'm not saying my hairstyle's perfect, I'm just curious as to what he's hiding underneath that beard. He's either hiding an extremely weak chin, or all the shame of playing in a youth pastor band. And yes, bearded bard, I am Christian myself. I know the absolute boredom you subject the youth to. In fact, you can kind of view me as an anti-youth. I was the leader of my Christian school's parody band, replacing Jesus with Cheez-Its, you know that stuff. You pride yourself on making wholesome content, stuff that you can feel good to. But for some reason, I only ever end up feeling sorry for you. I can only imagine the prejudice you must face at your church when you not only play Dungeons & Dragons, but look like every dwarf OC ever made as well. Bearded Bard, thank you so much for being a great sport. You are one of the best creators on the app, one of the best people on this app. Everyone, please go check him out. Tales of D&D wants smoke. Call me a forest fire, cause it's roasting time, baby! For those who don't know, Tales of D&D is one of the original OG D&D TikTokers. He got famous by breaking the mold and being a white man who talks about D&D. Just kidding, he broke the mold by being a Florida man who learned how to read. Speaking of Florida, Jim Carrey's Florida Dr. Eggman. You look like a Florida Jim Carrey. I have nothing but respect for him, though. In fact, he managed to be in the top 11% of OnlyFans creators, despite the taxidermied caterpillar on his lip. In your bio, it says you're poly. How do you rationalize committing to the excitement of polyamory, while at the same time committing to the absolute boredom of being a monk main? I feel like your D&D mains can take lessons from your love life. For you may be capable of satisfying multiple love partners at the same time, you are entirely incapable of satisfying anyone else in your party. As further proof that monks are lame, there are only two types of people that would put up pocket pussy as an Amazon wishlist item. Monks and virgins. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you for being a great sport, Tales of D&D. Everyone, please go check them out. Sarah is Coffee would like a roast. After today, you'll be going by Sarah is Burnt Coffee. Sarah is Coffee is a fantastic content creator with half of my haircut. I get it, the shaved side look is pretty good, but by only shaving one side, you're just showing your true colors as a coward. Although it is a noted improvement from her old haircut. We in the comedy business might call this type of haircut a Karen cut combo. Or as people of culture know it, a coconut head. Haircut aside, Sarah's accomplished a lot despite being only 24 years old. Not only does she have the style choice of a fun soccer mom, she also has the anxiety of a fun soccer mom. The mom energy most likely comes from the fact that she's a career dungeon master. Dungeon masters spend most of their time herding cats, which is why it looks like she lives with several. On the topic of her content, Sarah's content is in the middle point of funny and edge. The only word I can find that accurately describes the awkwardness is fudge. Make of that what you will. Thank you so much for being a great sport, Sarah's Coffee. She's one of the best creators on the app and a great person.
Hello, and welcome to Coffee Talks with Sarah. Today we will be talking about stereotypes in D&D, or what I like to call the Tolkien effect. I think I've been fairly clear that I believe that there are stereotypes that exist in D&D that need to change, but some people don't think that. The reason for that is because of Tolkien. Tolkien's works were dynamite for the fantasy genre, and the creators of D&D took a lot of inspiration from his works when they were creating the game. Tolkien himself was adamant throughout his entire life that his books were not an allegory, which is what people tend to refer to when they say that D&D doesn't work off of stereotypes. But that's actually a pretty two-dimensional view of the problem. Academics have posited that Tolkien actually just insisted that his work was such an allegory because he later saw the flaws in his own work. Tolkien wrote his fantasy genres during World War I when there was great fear in both Britain and the US about an Asian occupation and invading force. Actually some pretty uncomfortable descriptions of orcs in Tolkien's own book that supports this theory. Nothing is perfect, but when we recognize its flaws, we can make it better.
Perhaps you have simply forgot what you signed, oh honestly. Did you not read the colony policy?
that defines you as company property, that wavers your say in autonomy. The conglomerate's got you in lock and key. We put the dollar back into idolatry. If you're upset, you can rent an apology. We are a family forged in bureaucracy. No I in teen, but there's con in economy. Were you expecting adventure? Were you hoping for fun? My friend, you're indentured and pleasure's exempt from your tenure, so venture back down to your slum.
Far over the misty mountains cold, through dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to find our long forgotten gold.
So you want to find your TikTok community? Okay. Can you dance? No. Can you draw? No. Are you a thirst trap? No. Do you like Dungeons and Dragons? Wow, I didn't ask if it was your entire personality. Sure, show me those dice. Do you even need that many? Well, maybe someone will enjoy this content.
This is for the D&D players out there, so if you play Dungeons and Dragons, use this sound and answer the questions, because I want to know what you guys are into. Do you prefer being a player or a dungeon master? What is your favorite class? What is your favorite race? What is your favorite background? What is your favorite cantrip? What's your favorite spell? And finally, are you the kind of person that uses the same set of dice over and over? Do you buy a new set for every new character? Or are you a dice hoarder?
What the hell is that? It's a baby we found in the trash. Well, put it back.
I warn you, I've been trained to kill since birth.
Wow. And how long have you been training to be a prat?
You can't address me like that.
Sorry. How long have you been training to be a prat? My lord.
I am lost.
You wanted it, I've received countless requests for this, we're doing a sword tutorial. There's only 3 things you need: a shit ton of cardboard, some scissors, and a shit ton of tape. First step is to take the central support stick and tape it to a piece of cardboard which will act as a general support to hold it together. Next step is to take 2 slightly larger pieces, both identical, and tape the first one to the inside support like so. Make sure it's sturdy and use a lot of tape. These things can be quite flimsy. The second one will be taped to the outside piece instead of the inside, as the first 2 are nice and secure. Here it is for scale. It's about 4 feet high. Now that both pieces are taped together, you can see there's a nice bevel formed by the inside piece. For the hilt, I used smaller bits of cardboard and rolled them around the support stick to create the hilt. I did not do a crossguard this time, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. It looks good, I hope yours does too. Have fun with it.
Hey everyone, I wanted to start making videos to help people understand D&D and probably help understand my skits better. But I'm gonna do this while making fun of you. Buckle up. If you think a nat 20 means you get whatever you want, you are dead wrong, babe. The only application of a nat 20 strictly is in combat. If you roll a natural 20, you auto hit, and you get to double your damage dice. So that's how I can roll a 23 and not hit a monster, because I rolled a 19 plus 4. But with a nat 20, I can't. In skill check scenarios, it doesn't do shit. It just means you did better than a 19. And it's up to the DM to determine what that means. So to those who think rolling a nat 20 means you can teleport to space, lift up a car and throw it across the world, eat rocks, convince the king to kill himself, turn a nunnery into a brothel, survive getting torn in half, lift a building with your own 2 hands, you are wrong. Nat 20 just means you did good, kid. Did better than anyone was expecting. Hope this helps, Outlaw Gang, but bye!
This girl is the nastiest skank bitch I've ever met. Do not trust her. She is a fugly slut.
So the family and I were driving home out in the country, and one of my kids looked up in the sky and says, "Dad, what is that bright spot by the moon?" And I was like, "Ooh, maybe it's the ISS." So I looked, and it wasn't the ISS. I checked through an app. It was actually just one of the stars in a constellation near there. But thinking about the ISS triggered a thought in my head. The people that have been to the ISS have a unique view of the Earth that not many people on Earth can say that they've had. And while they do take pictures, we take them at their word for the beauty that they've seen from up there, because they are the ones that have seen it. So why in the world don't we take people at their word when they tell us that they see the beauty in us? Maybe we are not at that unique perspective where we can see it, but others are. Yet we constantly argue with those people and tell them, "No way, you're wrong." But they've seen it firsthand. Don't think of yourself as less when others have looked at you and told you that you are more.
I'll have a mocha caramel latte chino made with skim milk, no whipped cream. Please put that in a grande cup, but use the same amount of coffee that you'd put into a tall. That way there's about an inch of extra room on top to stir in my own nutmeg without spilling any coffee at all. What do you want?
I'll have a tea.
What kind?
Just tea?
I want to know, if I showed up to our date wearing this, what would you do? What would you do?
If you touch that again, I shall kill you right now. Okay. Do not touch this. This is a no touching zone.
Good. Well then...
Oh my God! I can't believe you reached across like that again. I can't even believe it. Don't cross this line with your hand.
So a lot of D&D players like to chat about their favorite character that they've made, and that's super awesome, and you should continue doing that. But today we're going to do something a little different, and that's going to start with me turning my phone right side up. There we go. Today, I'm going to ask you, what is the worst D&D character you've ever made? I'm talking about the character that you look back on now, and you just go, no. No! I'll go first. My character's name was Kahlua, and she was a half-orc wild magic sorcerer, and when she was 13, she fell into a well that was blessed by the god of lies, Sirik, which caused her to alignment shift to chaotic evil and turned her into a compulsive liar. She spent much of the campaign doing her own thing and was pretty much just the bare minimum of a team player. She later died and was reincarnated into a dragonborn, which got rid of the god's blessing and saved the character, but that was still 2.5 months of regret chalked up. Her arcane focus was a yo-yo.
What will you give me for it?
I'll give you a whole gold piece.
Oh, no, something. I don't want money, I want something. Give me something.
2 gold pieces.
Not gold pieces.
Roll for initiative.
Well...
One time I get to church, 7 years old, there's a dead body in the front. It's a funeral. Nobody explains that to a 7-year-old Michael Jr. I'm thinking that's how they roll. Like every 3 weeks or so, they bring a dead body in as an example or something. And the dude on stage yell at everybody in the audience like they the ones that did it. I remember asking my grandmother, I'm looking for some explanation. I'm like, Grandma, what happened to the man in the box? What happened to the man in the box? Her whole explanation was, he in a better place. I'm like, what kind of box did he live in before?
Dear teachers, please be prepared to teach online, or in person, or both simultaneously, while on a moving train, juggling, in a burning building under the sea, during a wrestling match with a T-Rex while riding a unicorn. Also, we value you, and be safe.
So, like, I know we're supposed to be teamed up now. Here we go. But I was way better than you before that. I'm sorry, did you say something? And I stand by it. The Mario franchise is way better than the Sonic franchise. That's not true at all. Sonic was way better. If you grew up playing Sonic, you had a great childhood. You do realize we're still making Mario games to this day, right? And they're still making black licorice to this day. It doesn't mean it tastes good. Wow, that's a good point. Who would win in a fight, Sonic or Mario? Why does that matter? That would never happen. Sounds to me like you think he would lose. I'm warning you, bro. You don't want to go toe-to-toe with me. The Sega Dreamcast was the first online gaming console. Without us, no online gaming. You had to shut down. Do you even make consoles anymore? Huh? And you only made one handheld console. Wow, you're really triggered. Listen, bro, we got Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, the Nintendo Switch, the Wii U. We got the GameCube. Need I go on? Yeah, I gotta go inside and eat. My mom's calling. That's what I thought, trying to go toe-to-toe with me. The fuck are you looking at?
I have 103 fever, I can't see out of my left eye, my right arm has completely gone numb, I have severe chest pains, and I'm coughing up blood. Yeah, here's a bag of ice, you can go back to class.
Yo, no, that wasn't me, I swear. No, just clear my throat, I swear, please, don't teach me, no. Oh, no, what are you doing?
Okay, class, so if we turn to module 6, we'll see that we're talking about the mitochondria today.
Let's go!
Blind people would have no idea that they're blind unless someone told them about sight.
How did you get there?
Your ears click every time you swallow.
What?
When you die, you go from being somebody to somebody.
Dude.
Humans with disabled dogs are service humans.
Stop it.
Today could be your future child's birthday and you wouldn't even know it.
You make me want to vomit.
There's a constant wave of people falling asleep all around the world.
Have you ever stopped to question why you say all this dumb shit?
Dogs are taller when they sit than when they stand.
Can you please cease to exist?
When you go into nature, probably more animals see you than you see animals.
What the hell was that?
People in therapy are often in therapy to deal with people in their lives who won't go to therapy.
It's time for you to go, okay?
Hi, my name is John Furness. My nickname is the Blind Woodsman, and I am a totally blind woodworker. I use a machine called a wood lathe to make one-of-a-kind pieces. I make canisters, bowls, and sometimes even furniture. I was taught by another blind woodworker about 15 years ago. I've come up with a few tricks to keep track of the colors of wood I like to use. I use a tactile measuring device made for the blind, and it is the only adaptive tool in my shop. I follow all safety rules when using power tools. Since I love to work with my hands, I also love to work on cars. Another hobby of mine is baking. And once upon a time, I also rebuilt pianos. Here's me and my honeybee, Annie, my wife and love of my life. Here's our fur kid, Pickle. I even drive. Just kidding. Thanks for watching and take care.
You know what I'm tired of seeing here on TikTok? When I scroll through TikTok and I see funny guys making funny videos with their girlfriends, but clearly the girl is like 5 leagues out of their league, and then I go to the comment section and all I see is this. Why is that girl with that dork? What does she see in him? Well, for one, here's an idea. Maybe she actually likes him as a person. Number 2, you'd be surprised how far you can get with a girl if you can make her laugh. But number 3, it's so funny some of you bitter assholes say that because we ask the same thing when they date people like you. Like, damn, why is she dating that piece of crap who treats her like a piece of crap, and by the time we date her, she is so broken that we have to put her back together and undo every psychological instinctive reaction that she has from being in a crappy abusive relationship with you and reassure her, hey, it's okay if people treat you well with kindness and respect. Plus, you know, the dork usually knows how to get her to orgasm, which I'm sure is a term you're probably not familiar with because the dorks actually paid attention in anatomy.
This, though. I hope you don't mind me replying to your comment, it summed up all of my feelings of Pandora.
I get heated about Pandora. I get heated about her. I get heated about a mythological person who's been dead for a very long time. But as like the comment said, she was literally created with the intent of punishing humans because Prometheus gave them fire. That's what Zeus was like, build this lady for.
And she didn't get a choice about whether she wanted to do this or not. She didn't get a choice about it because Zeus literally had her created for this exact purpose of revenge. She was an instrument of Zeus's revenge, and then she got blamed throughout mythology and throughout history for opening this box and unleashing evils onto the world when you're like, it was Zeus! And honestly, if Prometheus, his brother, hadn't been so thirsty and married Pandora instead of heeding his brother's warning about not accepting gifts from the gods, I'm just saying.
Yesterday I was exploring an abandoned silver mine when I noticed there was hundreds of feet of mine below the planks I was walking on. On the shelf just below me, I thought I saw an old pair of jeans. These jeans can sell for almost $100,000. So today, I grabbed my gear and went back. Try to find some jeans or whatever on that shelf. And so this is the gear that I bring in most places I go. There's a gas detector, flashlight, gloves, climbing gear. This is a descender so you can go down. This is an ascender so you can go up. GoPro so I don't have to use my hands. Knife, just in case. I slid back into the mine, making sure to grab all my gear. I went back to the planks to see how far a drop this was going to be. Headed down. Follow along for the rest of this adventure.
How llamas can save us from COVID. Yeah, you heard me right. Llamas, like all other animals, have an immune system that produces antibodies in response to infections and disease. But because of a genetic mutation, the llama antibodies are actually able to neutralize the COVID virus by blocking it. Here's how it works. I know this looks like biology class, but just bear with me. Llama antibodies, called nanobodies, are so small that they can bind to the spike protein of the virus that causes COVID-19. Doing this means the virus can't enter human cells and cause infection. That's the real defensive player of the year right there. Also, they're really small, meaning they can bind to these proteins ways normal antibodies can't. Also, since they're so small, you can literally inhale them into your lungs at the site of an infection on some Osmosis Jones type beat. I'm gonna be real upset if nobody gets that reference. Also, the llama antibodies are more stable in response to heat or chemical attacks, and they're better at avoiding detection from the virus. Like a secret agent, but comes from llama blood. These antibodies can be used to treat people that are already affected with the COVID virus. That is the face of an American hero right there. You know, a llama bailing us out from a pandemic is exactly the plot twist I'd expect from 2020. At this point, I'd elect him president. Can we get hashtag llamas for president going?
100 years from now, if somebody should bring up my name, if it would still be around, it would be nice if people say, geez, I thought he was a good writer. His stories gave me a lot of pleasure. That's what people tell me now, and it's the best thing any writer can ever hear. When I see the characters that I help to create on the screen, I don't really think of them as my characters. I really sit in the theater and I watch them the way every member of the audience watches them. And at the end of the movie, I usually say, damn, that was good. I'm so glad. But I worked with artists who brought them into life, who let people see what they look like and showed the action. There are directors who added so much to the characters and their direction, and the actors who brought so much. It isn't a one-man field. It is so